Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into Fantasy Football University, FFU, coming at you yet again in the off season. I'm Mr. Bildakusas. I'm here with Mr. Time Lang. Mr. Lang, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. We took a little bit of a hiatus and we're back in action. I'm ready to talk about some news and do another mock draft so we get ourselves prepared for the fantasy football year.
Absolutely. We're going to be coming at you guys with all of our early rankings. That's going to be coming up. That'll probably be we'll start getting into that in the upcoming shows. For now, we're going to be covering all the latest. There's a lot of news to talk about because this is going to be 2 weeks since we did our last show. A lot of news to cover, and we got an updated mock draft for us later. Very, very exciting. So, first thing, top right off the top of my head, actually happened today. So the Atlanta Falcons signed Kyle Pitts
Yeah.
to a 3-year, $54 million contract extension. So, you know, great. And he had like one super amazing game last year that basically put him as the tight end too. The great, actually, we didn't, we're not, let's do it justice. The greatest tight end fantasy performance game of all time.
Yeah. And also the greatest fantasy end of season performance that you can ever ask for because he almost literally he put me into almost the million dollar maker
Right.
in best ball.
And then completely failed you the next week,
That is
basically.
true. Yes, but if it wasn't for me not having a quarterback, I would have probably taken it.
So they did that, and we kind of talked about this last time. The issue here in Atlanta is, and Tommy and you and I have gone back and forth about this like 13 times about who's actually going to play quarterback for the majority of the year. How well is it going to be? You're still on the Tua train?
Yeah, I mean, you don't bring in Tua. I mean, obviously you need a backup quarterback, but you don't bring in Tua. Obviously he's a failed experiment. I don't think he's a failed experiment. I think his injuries really is what took him to where he is right now. The failed experiment is the Miami Dolphins. They have failed. Though they have paid a lot of money for Devon Achane, the real Achane, but But I think honestly, this is going to be another shot for Tua. I think Michael Penix is a fine quarterback, but I don't think they just shoved them in there when he didn't need to be there. And now with the coach change and there's a new coach carousel happening in Atlanta, um, I think what they have there now is going to be more of a structured environment. Yes, they had a good coach there prior to, which we were surprised when they terminated his existence for the Falcons. But um, honestly, I think that it's a good structure for him, and I think two is going to have a good shot.
I feel like I want to make an ice bath bet with you right now, our first one of the year. I think that Michael Penix plays more games than Tua as the starting quarterback this year for the Falcons.
No, I guess she'll be taking a nice ice bath
So you're going
because
to take
that
that
ain't
bet?
100%.
We have an ice bath. Our first one of the year. I'll mark it down in our list. Okay. That might be the stupidest one I've ever done.
Yeah, that is pretty dumb. If there was a bet on that, you probably should put some money on that thing.
Can you imagine if it's like night they both start like two games, then they're both injured, and it's like some random guy for the rest of the year? Oh my goodness.
Well, the Falcons have a pretty decent, offensive line. So I mean, I maybe they can, keep Tua on his feet instead of on
Early
his head.
early thoughts. Who wins the NFC South this year?
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay. Okay,
Tampa Bay's coming back with a vengeance, and they're gonna route it up.
I
I
might
don't
have
even. I think they're gonna win it by at least two or three games too.
I think New Orleans has a real shot
I
to win
don't
that
know.
thing. Although Carolina won it last year.
Yeah, by default. They won it last year by playing, half the season the Buccaneers were just destroyed. So,
Yes.
honestly, the Buccaneers were the East Coast 49ers of last year.
Right. I mean, the injury situation. Yeah.
Correct.
All right. Let's jump into some other news. News out of my neck of the woods here. So there's a bit of a Geno Smith saga going on
Oh,
right
I
now.
saw. That's wild.
Yeah. So, do you think anything becomes of this, or do you think they're gonna, playing it up in TMZ or whatever? If anybody
It's
doesn't
gonna
know what we're talking about, there's a bit of a brouhaha with him being a battery domestic violence situation complaint with Geno Smith. Social media posts galore, etc. It's very fun. I encourage everybody to go look at it.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably really good for the Jets, to tank this year. So it's a forced tank.
Although you think it's better for them to tank if he's the actual starting quarterback.
I think whoever's going to be there, I think it's just a joke that Gino's there. But I think if somebody else was there, it would actually be, a solidified tank.
There's the one rookie, and I can't remember what his name is that they have, and now it looks like he might end up. I don't know. We'll see what ends up happening with Gino here, but if it ends up playing, by the way, if anybody doesn't know, I'll reiterate it. As a horrifically sad Jets fan, I hope that they tank the year and go get Archie Manning and move on with their lives with this whole quarterback saga the last couple of years. We'll
Well,
see if I.
you better hope that Marchie Manning, steps it up. This is his junior year, senior year of college.
Yeah, well, we'll find out. So I wanted to touch on the whole Brendan Sorsby situation. Okay. So it was announced today that the NFL that informed everybody that they're not going to have a supplemental draft, which we very rarely do we actually does it actually come up as a thing in fantasy football because it's always generally speaking for people who are kind of like on the bubble. It's never like these splash players that you end up finding out. But Brendan Sorsby was the big name here involved because of the whole gambling situation going on in college. Um, First of all, how close did you follow the whole situation?
I saw a little bit. I really didn't follow too close because he's not going to be fantasy relevant. So
Well, is he or isn't he? I mean, that's the thing. So because there's not going to be a supplemental draft, he's going to have to join the NFL next year in 2027. But if they did allow that supplemental draft, he presumably he would have been on a team. A team would have had to give up X amount of pick, and then they would have gotten him at whatever that pick was and whatever that round is, and then he would have been on the team. Um, clearly that's not going to happen. So he's going to have to wait around until 2027. His stock will be down by that point in a very robust quarterback class. So, I mean, we'll wait and see what happens. By the way,
yeah, the Cleveland Browns will probably take a shot on
yeah, and
him.
I just want to say just a 2 second aside about that because this is how people get on the internet and about this kind of little situation. Like, it doesn't make you speaking for the man if you criticize somebody who does anything slightly against the rules. Like, you're allowed to call out, "Hey, you shouldn't do something that's against the rules."
Yeah.
But people get like somehow we're bootlickers because like, oh, therefore you're taking their side. Like he shouldn't have done any betting. It doesn't matter who he bet on, what he did. He shouldn't have done that.
It's just a
Like,
part of the rules. I mean, like if the rules say not do this, or you're going to be restricted to actually receiving your millions of dollars, then don't do that.
right. I bring it up because there's somebody who listened to our podcast a couple weeks ago when we were talking about we were comparing somebody to the Josh Gordon situation and we were talking about the marijuana. It was the Rashee Rice thing who we'll get to
Hmm.
in our next little talk here. Um, but like how therefore like everybody needs to y'all should get over yourselves, it's marijuana, get over yourselves. And like I said, fine, like we recognize this is not the death of society, somebody smoking marijuana, but there are rules. Like
Yeah,
how hard is it to follow rules?
it's just a rule. Not only are there rules, but you're a role model to the young kids that are watching you day in day out. And there's there's role model aspects. There's also money aspects as well too. It's a part of your contract. If it says don't do this, you just don't do that. Because it usually gets out, that you did that. So, just sometimes you just got to grow up and just follow the rules that are specifically within the terms of agreement of your contract or the players association, things like that. You just have to do it. You know, so say this. I mean, I'm just putting this out there, but like Kyle Pitts, I'm not going to say this is going to happen. Hopefully, it doesn't happen. Or then everybody's going to think I'm a genie or something like that. But Kyle Pitts goes out, smokes some weed, and then he just got signed his 3 year, $54 million contract. And tomorrow they go, you know what? You smoked some weed. We're done here. You're off the team. There's no more contract here. Who else is going to give him a 3 year, $54 million contract? Nobody.
Nobody. I just sometimes I don't understand why people feel the need to be that robust about that kind of thing on the internet. Like it doesn't make you less of a man or less of a human if you're just trying to follow whatever the rules are. I mean, it's not that bad. It's really not. Just don't do what they don't ask you to do. This
Yep.
isn't a violation of freedom. You'll be fine. Yeah, so the aforementioned Rashid Rice thing. So Rashid Rice has made it out of jail. Congratulations, he made it out of jail.
Good job, bud.
Let's see if
Good
he can
job.
stay out. We kept saying 100 different times that we think that he's going to be out, that the NFL is going to do something to him, presumably.
Yeah, and everybody get ready for those free Rushy Rice shirts that they're gonna be wearing
Yeah, again, for more
for
stupid
after
crap.
something that he did himself.
I know. Now, I'm actually not just worried about the suspension from a fantasy standpoint. I'm also worried about, I don't know if he's going to be himself. I mean, he's like, the injury is like, I feel like people are overlooking the severity of what that was. So, I mean, like maybe people should be trepidatious. I mean, he's going fairly high.
Yeah, he is. I mean, I don't see him as, I guess, scary of as a pick as I perceive Malik Neighbors right now. But it's
Well,
fairly close.
Malik is going in the first. So, I mean,
Yeah, that's very scary.
let's get to a couple more contract news. While we're on the Chiefs, let's just mention the Patrick Mahomes deal situation. So let's call it adjusted slash extended Patrick Mahomes to get him through 2033.
You know why
And
they adjusted him?
why?
To make some cap space up for Tyreek Hill.
Well, whatever, they got to do something. We'll talk about the wide receivers in just a second. So, like, the thing is, though, they always report it this funny way in the media where they restructured him, they extended him for the largest deal in NFL history, the largest, the most money, and then but it's a team friendly cap deal. I'm like, I don't know how I don't know how they warp those both in the same sentence, but God bless them. They need help. And yeah, speaking of the wide receivers, because of what we just talked about with Rashi Rice, the drumbeat is getting higher and higher for Tyreek Hill to show back up with the
Yeah.
Chiefs, and I think it needs to happen. Let me just say, if it doesn't happen, I can't believe I'm going to go here. I think Xavier Woods might end up being a steal in the draft. He's going as an afterthought in
You mean
like the
Xavier Worthy?
Xavier Worthy, sorry. Xavier Worthy. He's going as a complete
Yeah, I
afterthought,
mean,
as a shot.
he just got to not run into Travis Kelce in the first play of the first drive of the year.
I know. Well, well, to that point, he was playing with a broken shoulder for the entire year. And guaranteed that affected him. He lost all the momentum that he had towards the end of his rookie year. I think it could be a steal. Now, again, not telling anybody to take him in the first 4 rounds, but where he's currently going, I think it's a good option.
Yeah, for a guy that was a waiver wire pick half the season last year, he could be a decent, pick, but I would buyers beware on him because he could just flop like he did.
He could, but again, if it's going in the umpteenth round, then whatever. It doesn't cost you too much. In more contract news, back to Atlanta. So Drake London, or a little again again, we're catching everybody up the last couple weeks here. He locked up let me make sure I get this right, 4 year, $141 million extension. And you and I kept saying it, like, I do feel better about Drake London if Tua is the quarterback, but even Penix was able to supply him just with an endless amount of targets, which sufficed him to basically low end wide receiver one numbers.
Mhm.
Um, you know, I am I really want to see what the Atlanta, like, once they start getting into training camp, what that looks like. It's before I start feeling really good about Atlanta in general. But we'll see that when we get to it. By the way, speaking of training camps, so training camp, the schedules have all been written out as to when they're all starting, but all the other teams have been going through OTAs. So if anybody's been watching, there's been a whole endless amount of stuff about people getting hyped about players that are never going to see the field. So, try to temper your expectations. Wait till they start getting the full team and everybody else going on in there. Um, and by the way, they announced all the dates, all the joint practices, etc. So let's talk about. I had one or two other ones. Was anything else cross your radar? I had some other
Yeah,
stuff.
there's actually two. James Conner is a potential
Yes.
candidate to replace Josh Jacobs this year. If there is something that's going to happen with Josh Jacobs. Um,
So much for the Marshawn Lloyd nonsense. I mean,
yeah, yep, yep. But
um,
I mean, he's a tough guy, man. Like, every single year we always say he's on his way out, he's on his way out, and he finds his way into the end zone, uh, you know, 10 plus times a year, when he's healthy. So, if he's healthy and, going into this year, which he should be, coming into this year, I think that he could be a nice supplement over there. Josh Jacobs he's a great running back, but when you do something wrong and you have 5 counts of whatever you got,
Right.
James Conner is going to come in and prove that he can still do it.
Two more bits of news. One, the latter of which I kind of want to like sit on a little bit with you. So first is that the George Pickens situation going on in Dallas. So he's reported to mandatory minicamp and confirmed he is not going to hold out into the summer. So the situation there, it's like, one of the things that we looked at was ADP or whatever, and you basically have two Dallas wide receivers going in the top 12.
Hmm.
And we don't necessarily agree with that situation. Like a lot of George Pickens's dominance last year came when CeeDee Lamb was out, halfway out, coming in and out, that kind of stuff. So it's hard for me to see them both ending up in the top 12. Doesn't mean that I don't think George Pickens is going to be a strong wide receiver two, for example. But how do you see that situation?
I think it's the perfect 1-2 punch. If one of the guys they can't double team somebody, so I think it's going to be a great opportunity, and it's only going to stretch the field even better with Ferguson being out there as well too, healthy. So, and we got Flannery, Illinois out there, taking some grabs as well too. But I think the both of them, CD and also um, George Pickens, they're going to be probably the best 1-2 punch in the year
So
in the NFL.
so notably, when we went through our ADP critique episode, and we were looking at wide receivers, one thing you mentioned was that CD was one of the wide receivers that you would take over JSN. We both
Correct.
felt that JSN was a bit overrated, as amazing as he is. Let's not
Yes.
overstate it. But so CD Lamb was one of those things. You hold true to that still. You think CD's in for a great year this year?
100%. I mean, it's only going
Yeah.
to be a better scenario when both of them are healthy on the field. And if it's not a red light year for Dak Prescott, they should just soar. Their defense got better,
Right.
but then they're in a really really tough division
They are in
once
a tough
again,
division. Yeah.
once again. But it just they're going to have to put up points. They're going to have to put up 28 plus points a game, and where are those going to go? A lot of them are going to go through the air.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
All right, let's our last bit of news
Hey,
here.
I got one more too. I got one more
Oh,
too.
sure,
But
sure. Let
I'll
me
I'll
let me.
go. I'm gonna drop this. This is a big bomb, so
Oh,
I'm gonna drop this on after this.
well, all right. So the next thing I wanted to talk about a little bit with you. So I just wanted to talk about the Cleveland Browns quarterback situation.
And we're
So
done.
yeah, yeah, but it matters because there's so many relevant players in Cleveland that are being just thrown to the wolves because of
Yeah.
this situation. So I keep forgetting the head coach's name. Todd Monken has said that, and it's being viewed or whatever. So Deshaun Watson and Shador Sanders are fully splitting reps at the quarterback position. So two questions to ask you. First of all, who do you think is better this for this team this coming year? And I have
Uh,
a feeling we'll both surprise each other with what we say.
I think Shador Sanders has to be the guy. You know,
I agree with you. We know what we're getting out of Deshaun.
you know what
Yeah,
you're getting out of Deshaun. He's not the same player he used to be. He's only a couple of years older, and he's getting injured left and right. You got to put in a guy that's basically going to, you got to let him see. You got to see what he's got.
right.
And as much as I hate the attitude, I hate the guy he is because of certain scenarios. I think you have to play the better player, the better opportunity to win you games. And that's just
Right.
this, you have these young players that are surrounded by it. You just keep it young, keep it consistent, and let the guy play.
Yeah, and the opportunity is there for like when we talked about it when we had the whole episode on Shador, like the opportunity is there for Shador to get better, to improve. Like there's not that doesn't exist for Deshaun Watson. And also, by the way, if you had to think of a player right off the top of your head who you don't like more than Shador Sanders, I think Deshaun Watson's probably the top of the list. So
Yeah, I mean
he,
the guy is just like Justin Tucker. He needs those massages to make it
I know.
happen.
Deshaun Watson is there's people online are funny about this too. Deshaun Watson is one of the only people on the planet who unanimously unites people. It doesn't matter what walk of life you are, what political affiliation you have, everybody hates Deshaun Watson. So, but I'm with you. I think it really should be Shador Sanders. And, now ultimately that'll mean essentially 3 years of Deshaun Watson not playing football, him have had all that money. And essentially it's already the worst deal in sports history or whatever. Um, but I bring this up because we talked about it in the draft react stuff. Cleveland has a lot of weapons here. I
Yeah.
mean, you got Harold Fannin, who's a highly ranked and highly touted tight end going into next year, plus all those wide receivers that they drafted, including my boy Concepcion. So I mean, like, how do you even remotely like how do you is there going to be any value there at all?
Um,
It's just going to be
you know,
streaming guys here
I
a
will
week or
say
there.
he's in every single one of my best balls. So
Cool, Concepcion.
no. Shador Sanders.
Shador in your best ball?
Every single one of my best
Oh
balls.
man. Okay. Why? Just because he's such an afterthought that it's like the easiest thing to grab him
Because
at the
he's
end or
getting
whatever.
pushed to the 10th, 11th round in a best ball, situation. So I mean it's a nice little slide in for, a guy that's going to put it out there. He's going to get at least, I'd say, he's going to get 50% of the games, at least at minimum 50% of the games. He should get a lot more. Um, Based on our take, he should get at least 80%.
Okay. Well, I mean, you weren't feeling commensurately good about Fannin from where he's going, like from where he's ranked at least. Now then again, you could just punt on tight end, so
I
that's fine.
honestly, I mean, he's a great talent. I just don't know if Shador is a hyper targeted guy. You know
You
what I
think
mean? If
Shador's
he,
just going to take what he's got type
yeah,
of
I
thing,
mean, and
if
he's
he's
got
got
more
anything.
talent. He's got a lot more talent on his roster this year coming into it than he did last year. So,
That's true.
why not utilize and spread it out? Because, somebody's going to be open.
And with the absence of Miles Garrett, maybe they have to actually score more points, to get stuff done.
The more I look at that too, I mean, I think, the defense they still have there is going to,
They'll be good.
be fairly good.
Yeah. All right, so sir, why don't you drop the bombshell here?
All right, this bombshell, this is going to be out of the blue, right? But this is a guy that we never talk about, Marvin Mims. Okay.
Oh,
I'm putting this is my hot take of the year.
well,
Marvin
that's
Mims.
overstating. You can have a lot of hot takes.
Marvin Mims is going to finish in the top 24. He is
Ugh,
going Marvin Mims is going to, and I'm gonna put a target on this one. Marvin Mims is going to finish as the number 16 wide receiver.
he's not even a top four on his own
Marvin
team.
Mims is going to finish, and that's not, and I'm going to explain this. I'm going to explain this right here. Okay.
Okay.
He's going into his last year with his contract for the
All right,
Broncos.
that's
He's
our favorite
excited.
thing.
He's very excited. He said his quotes, I am just going to enjoy it to the fullest because this might be his last year as a Denver Bronco, right? I'm telling you something right now. This guy he's going to score close to 10 touchdowns this year.
This is crazy, man. You're gonna undercut all credibility from this. He's
That's
not
fine.
even he's not even the top four wide receivers on his own
My
team.
word, I just said it.
Okay.
He's going to do it. And you could get
Okay.
him in waivers.
Are there any other Denver Broncos wide receivers that are going to finish ahead of him in your
Uh, I mean, Jalen Waddle
so you think Jalen Waddle could finish in the top
should,
15?
but Marvin Mims is going to carry it for the Denver Broncos roster.
Okay. Cortland Sutton, where will he finish?
He's on his way out.
And our boy Troy Franklin.
Troy Franklin, Mr. Oregon connection. I don't know. He might be a wide receiver 3 or 4.
Okay, so then you're feeling decent. Okay, so then you're feeling decent about Bo Nix, but also there's some tongue in cheek here. So I know you're being a little bit bold with whatever this prediction is.
He might be running some touchdowns back through kickoffs and
He
kick returns
he
though
might
too.
get traded halfway through the year. All right, so people could take of that what they will.
Yep. Take
You
it.
want to get into some mock draft
Yeah, let's
action
get
here?
into some mock draft
Uh,
action here.
why don't you introduce what we're doing to the people? I'll get this shared here.
Should I just rewind the tape and basically just have us basically I'll just record myself every single time. And it's the same exact kind of setup. So it's half point PPR.
No, no,
It's
no. You just bring
12
us in.
teams. We're doing a quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, and a flex, running back, wide receiver, tight end. And then 5 bench positions, we are punting the kicker and we are punting the defense just for this draft. Um, so we don't all pick a defense in the last round. Billy is picking at the 6th pick. I am picking at the 7th pick. So we're going to snipe one another and it's be fun. So yeah, you ready?
I'm ready to go. Let's get it rocking and rolling, man.
All right, let's start this draft. And oops, we just started our home league draft.
Did
Just
we?
kidding. No, I'm just kidding. So Bijan Robinson goes first, Jameer Gibbs, Taylor,
Yeah.
JSN, and then Chase goes and Billy's on the clock.
Yeah. So, I've had this discussion with Tommy that I am not a Christian McCaffrey guy currently where he's going this year. I know it's blasphemy to talk like this, but it's just too hard for me. And I feel like the value is just too good elsewhere. And I'm going to try something a little bit different. Normally, I'm just pushing so hard for these running backs right at the beginning, but the three guys are out the way, and basically 1A in terms of receivers still there. So I'm going to go with Puka right at the top, and I'll see how I build my team out after that.
All right. And nobody goes because I'm on the clock.
That's right.
So yeah, so I really don't feel too keen on this position here. Though I do obviously love some of these players, but it's really sometimes a little too early to take some of these players. Um, I we talk about Christian McCaffrey a lot on how we think he was overused last year, that he's going to start breaking down. But I mean, the guy is just, after that, after that German calf exchange, the guy is just rolling it. So, I mean, I gotta say, I mean, like it's really hard to pass on Christian McCaffrey here because I mean, Christian McCaffrey, I would take Christian McCaffrey over James Cook. I would take Christian McCaffrey over Ken Glass Walker. Um, the only other player that I probably would take here is CD Lamb, and it being half point PPR, running backs for me is more valuable. So in this,
Well, let me pause you there because I know that you personally feel Genty is better than McCaffrey for this year, and you like Genty more. But are you trying to hopefully get him on the way back? Because I very much doubt that's going to be the case here.
I mean, there's a feeling that I would like to get him on the way back.
I mean, it's a weird position to be in. I mean, what if theoretically, what if you were at the 112 and McCaffrey, oh, sorry, let's not say the 112, the 111, and McCaffrey and Genty were there. You would be taking Genty, presumably,
Um,
or would you go McCaffrey hoping that Genty comes back? I mean, I know what you're going to say. That's
yeah, I mean, oh man, you're talking me into this now. Yeah, I mean, I do think that
I feel like you
Janty,
should take who you need at that point. Take who you want.
yeah. So you know what? I think you just talked me into it, and I'm just gonna go with my guy, Ashton Genty.
Okay. All right, well, you call out the guys
All
on
right.
that side
So
of the
then after
draft. I'll
that,
call the
Christian
guys on this
McCaffrey
side.
goes, James Cook goes, CeeDee Lamb goes, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Kenneth Glass Walker goes, and now we're in round two. Marion Hampton goes, Devon Achane goes, Saquon Barkley, Justin Jefferson, and Jordan Love goes mistakenly to team 8. And that's a rough right there. So all right. So I'm back on the clock and I'm totally not taking Josh Jacobs here. Nor am I taking Bucky Irving. And right now there is obviously Chase Brown, which is a great pick right here. I think he's going to have a phenomenal year. It could be a nice PPR setup right there. Um, Outside of that, you pretty much have, Drake London, who was extended. Great, he just got paid. Not taking a tight end in Trey McBride. Malik Neighbors, I'm kind of shying away from him. The only other player that I feel really good about taking in this position right here would be, well, actually, there's two outside of taking Chase Brown, would be Nico Collins or George Pickens. And honestly, if I was in a situation where I wanted higher volume, more of targets in he's obviously in a better system right now. This is gonna be crazy for me. Passing on Chase Brown. But George Pickens is probably the better pick, even though I love Nico Collins. I think George Pickens might be the better pick in this play here, because of his scenario in Dallas. He performed greatly last year. So I would have to shy away from Nico here, even though it's crazy for me to say that. And I'm kind of between Chase Brown and George Pickens. Billy, if you were in my position right here, I know you're taking Chase Brown in the next if he's still there. But if you're in
Yes.
my position right here, do you feel that the running back setup and then basically going wide receiver just loaded up after that is a better scenario with Chase Brown being there and pairing up with Genti?
Well,
Or
I'll take my personal flavor out of it. Like if I was to just, well, here's where I disagree with you. If you want to go the wide receiver route, that's fine. But think of how high you're ranking Pickens here. We just had the conversation. You're
yeah,
essentially drafting Pickens as the number 7 wide receiver. And I know you
yeah,
don't feel him that way. Now, here's the problem though. Malik Neighbors, you're not going to take him now because of the injury situation. It's a mock draft, whatever it is. Uh, Drake London just got paid, but again, we just talked about that situation. I told you I would love Nico Collins, but I need to see something better out of the Texans offense going on
yeah,
in training camp before I pull that. And the AJ Brown thing, we think there's a bit of a, a move down because of the Patriots thing. Pickens is there and he's looking great, but from an opportunity cost perspective, you could probably get a pretty decent wide receiver on the way back.
yep.
But
And
for you
that's
to
how I
commit to
feel. That's how I feel, honestly. I mean, I think
then
I
go
could I
running
could
back then.
bolster. Yeah, so I think the pick here for me is Chase Brown.
Okay, that no, that there's perfectly right with that. I was happy with one of two running backs there, Trace Brown or Derrick Henry, who I'm going to take Derrick Henry here, and I'm perfectly happy with Derrick Henry as my running back one. How could you not be? It's Derrick Henry. By the way, you think Derrick Henry stays in the league long enough to break the Emmitt Smith's record?
Um, it's a possibility.
He's talking about it. Yeah, we'll see if he does. Anyway, after Derrick Henry, Trey McBride, Drake London, Nico Collins, Malik Neighbors, Josh Allen off the board at the 212. Oof. George Pickens, AJ Brown, Bucky Irving, Rashee Rice, Josh Jacobs, and now I'm back on the board. And for me, I've done some mock drafts, separate from Tommy too, and I've kind of experimenting and mixing and matching. And for me, Brees Hall in the third round is pretty darn good. I'm really liking that, and especially where I started Puka Nakua. Um, I don't see how I could go any other route here. Yeah, just to mention, there's some good wide receivers on the board, but I think, especially I started wide receiver, I'm gonna go Brees Hall here, and I'm gonna let Tommy go from there.
Yeah, so here's the thing, right? So if I passed on Chase Brown in round two, I probably would have just leaned on a Kyron Williams or maybe taken like a Travis Etienne, as my RB2 spot. So I feel that, I could basically lean with another running back, but I think if I do so, I'm going to be missing an opportunity on some of these wide receivers that are sitting here right here, that you're not going to be able to get down the road. Obviously I love my Emeka Buka or however you pronounce his name. Because I know that's exactly how you're supposed to say his name. But um, you
Big
know,
boo.
yeah, I mean, but I know I could get him on the way back. I'm not going to reach for him here. Um, so in this play right here, Chase Brown and Genty as my running backs. I probably want to start leaning a little bit more on the reception game. Chris Olave, he was a darling of mine last year. He'd proven himself to be a target king, target monster. I'm just a little hesitant on taking him based on the rookie wide receiver they basically drafted. He's an ultra talented guy as well too. I do think that's going to take some shares away from him this year. Now I don't think it's going to cut into a crazy amount of volume, but again, he's not going to get 12, double digits every single game like he was receiving. So do I want to go that route? It could be something I want to, but I don't really look at him as a wide receiver one to my perspective, right at this point in time. Garrett Wilson is a great pick right here, but again, who's going to be the quarterback? I'm a little nervous about that situation, especially with Geno Smith. Geno Smith does Harper target, quarterback, wide receivers, and we saw it a lot through his career when when he was playing good. I just don't know if I want to basically roll the dice there as much as I feel like I should. The other player that, and this is a semi reach right here, would be Devonte Adams. You already know what you're going to get from Devonte Adams. You're going to get double digit touchdowns. So he's going to probably finish in the top
Well,
12.
we hope so. We haven't fully, delineated on all that, but this might be the end of Devonte Adams too. I'm worried about his health. I mean, he's another year older, etc. So I
Yeah.
mean,
This is what I'm
if
going
you're
to do
feeling
here.
it,
I want Devonte Adams as my pick, but I'm going to hope that he falls to the next round.
I don't know why you wouldn't pull that trigger on Chris Olave, Tet McMillan, or Garrett here, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think Ted McMillan is going to put up the numbers that I need him as my wide receiver one. Yes, through the year, that's going to adjust, and I could basically find that through, the waivers and just make some moves as the year, the year goes on and some of my late round picks in this draft. But I
Okay.
think the only player that I feel the 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 more I'm more intrigued about, and I hate going based on the first available guy, but Chris Olave is probably the only guy that's going to see those heavy targets, even though he's going to get cut in from Tyson a little bit. Chris Olave is going to be my pick there.
Yeah.
Ted McMillan goes, Kyron Williams goes, Lamar Jackson mistakenly goes there, Travis Etienne, T. Higgins, Javonte Williams, Brock Bowers, Garrett Wilson, Luther Burden goes before Lad McConkey, which is a mistake there. And Lad McConkey, it's a team 8. So team 8 is stacking up here. And I'm back on the clock, and Devontae Adams is still there. Here's the problem I have with Devontae Adams being still there is Emeka Ibuka is staring at my face right now as well too. Um,
Mika Boo.
Yeah. So I mean, I feel that I need to pull the trigger on Devontae Adams. I think he's going to be a sure thing with, getting the touchdowns. He's not going to get, 80 plus receptions, like he used to. He's probably going to see 60, 65 receptions. But they're going to be high valued receptions. I'm going to go Devontae Adams here. This could be a mistake, but it is what it is. Billy's on the clock.
Yeah, I'm on the clock and I am 100% going to be going wide receiver.
Hmm.
And for the brand, I'm going to be taking some Amika Egbegbue. However, before I make the pick, I just want to mention that, this is one of these reasons why we say kind of hit your running backs early because I really, really like the wide receivers in this area here.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got Waddle, who he could be a target monster in Denver. Jameson, I mean, we can't sing his praises high enough. Devontae Smith, who's now the leading wide receiver on a good team, despite what we want to say about Jalen Hurts. Abuka, and a little bit farther down, DJ Moore, Zay Flowers. I'm going to be trying to avoid, but there's options here at this point in the draft where the running backs is just not the same. Like there's a lot of questions going on about Henderson, Scatterboo, Tootin, Harvey, Swift. So I'm gonna take a Buka here, and we'll see who comes back. So Jalen Waddle's off the board, R.J. Harvey, Jameson Williams, McLaurin, Scatterboo, Travion Henderson, Bayshaw Tootin, Drake May, Colson Loveland, Quinshawn Judkins, and now I'm back on the board. So I've been talking about this all year long about my love for DJ Moore, and it's been close to a lock for me in the fifth round that I get DJ Moore here. Now, I've just been doing that all the time, basically without question, and I haven't even really been so focused on anybody else who's available. But just to say, one other guy here, like I mentioned earlier, who I really love is Devontae Smith at this point. But for the brand, I'm going to go DJ Moore, and then I get the Abuka DJ Moore stack.
Nice.
So I'm real happy with my team so far.
Well,
My team looks like a
congratulations
my
there.
team looks like a Tommy Lang team. I got the Derrick Henry, Abuka. This
Kind of
is
does. Kind of
yeah.
does. So you're saying that I know how to draft. Anyway, so
Hey,
basically,
you got Chase Brown and Olave. It looks like a Billy
yeah.
draft. So there you go.
All right. So yeah, I'm definitely not drafting Zay Flowers, so he could be completely out of it right there. Um, there are a couple different players that I'd be looking to pull the trigger on here. Um, David Montgomery, I think, is a great pick right here. I think he's going to see a nice share back there. He's probably going to have a 65%, what you call it? I
Yeah.
can't even, what's that?
Yeah. Touch share, however you want
Yeah.
to say it. Yeah.
Yeah, about 65% touch
The
share over
snaps
there.
or whatever.
Yeah, so I think that he's going to be a nice pick right there. Christian Watson getting wide receiver one pay numbers. Now, is he a number wide receiver one? He's got to stay on the field to be a wide receiver one. Um, there's a lot of other players that just fall into the next round that you don't really necessarily need to reach on here. But I think Devontae Smith is another nice little pick right here. He basically fell over here with no AJ Brown, with another young wide receiver there. He's going to have to basically be the star of that room. Though I don't like Jalen Hurts. I don't think he's a good quarterback. He's a good tush pusher, but he does know how to target Devonta Smith. I think Devonta Smith knows what to do with his targets, and I'm going to take Devonta Smith
I
here
think that's a great pick there. Yeah.
at my wide receiver three position. After that, DeAndre Swift goes, Zay Flowers goes, Cordell Tate goes, Joe Burrow goes, Tyler Warren goes, Mike Evans, Jalen Warren, the yeah, my guy goes, David Montgomery, uh, Jaden Daniels goes, and Christian Watson goes, and I am back on the clock. So I am definitely not pairing him. I'm definitely not pairing Devonta Smith up with Jalen Hurts. So that's a go. The I do think that this is the year that Ramondre Stevenson basically gets passed up on a little bit. I think that it's going to be a share in the beginning, but then after that, it's pretty much, Henderson's going to run away with it. He's just a great talent, and I think Ramondre is on his way out, to be honest. Though he's going to steal some opportunities in the red zone for all of us Trayvon Henderson owners.
I agree with you.
Kyle Pitts, I'm not pulling the trigger on a tight end here. The only other player I think at wide receiver that I feel comfortable with and confident in putting in my lineup would be DK Metcalf, especially with Aaron Rodgers back at the helm. I'm kind of tossed between there's two players here, DK Metcalf and Kyle Monangai. I think Kyle Monangai is going to start seeing a lot more target shares, and he's going to touch the ball a lot more in the backfield. I think it's going to be pretty much a 50-50 split, and also Monangai is very, very good in the passing game as well too. So I think Kyle Monangai is going to be a nice pick here. So it's kind of forced between two guys, DK and Kyle Monangai. I have two running backs. I have three wide receivers in a half point PPR scenario. So this might be the first draft that I actually pass on DK. And I'm going to go Kyle Monangai.
I like the Manunga. I think the potential for him towards the latter half of the year, especially, is really, really, really good. It's a good pick. So for me, I was glancing at the wide receivers the same way Tommy was. Definitely a lot of really interesting names here, but with Chuba Hubbard on the board at this point, starting running back who we like a lot without Rico Suave there, I'm taking Chuba Hubbard and I'm happy with it. And I'm moving forward. Following Chuba, Ramondre Stevenson, Tony Pollard, Jordan Tyson, Harold Fannin, Roma Dunze, Brian Thomas, Jalen Hurts, Cortland Sutton, Jackson Dart, Justin Herbert, and now I'm back on the board. A lot of quarterbacks went, which is making me feel good about late round quarterbacks. Get some of these guys out the way. We talk about it all the time. Back on the clock now, and I could really go any way here. As we look, DK Metcalf is still on the board.
Yeah.
Um, and and Michael Wilson too. And I just want to reiterate the situation that Michael Wilson has done it. Like he was great the second half of the year. And now it's like for some reason going as an afterthought because maybe we think they're not gonna be able to dominate. They're gonna have to do the exact same kind of offense this coming year. So to some degree, it might be a little bit underrated, but with the guys that are available here, and by the way, Marvin Harrison, who I'm also like in the same boat as Mike Wilson, they're both available. I'll see if one of the Arizona receivers makes it back to me. In terms of running back, I think I'm okay. A little bit later on, I'm eyeing Jadarian Price or Kenny Gainwell. So some good options on the way back. We'll see if they make it back. But for right now, I'm going to take DK Metcalf. He fell to this. I'll take him.
Okay, that's fine. And I'm perfectly fine with that. I mean, he would have definitely been my next pick, but there's another guy that I'm sitting right there. Yeah, I mean, I love Jacoby Myers. I think he's going to be a great, asset to this offense. And same thing with Marvin Harrison. I think Marvin Harrison, this is his year that he needs to step it up. But I think Rico Dowdle is probably another player that I want to basically package with my running back room here. think Rico Dowdle is going to steal the shares of touches in that backfield. Aaron Rodgers loves a nasty guy, and Rico Dowdle was playing nasty last year, so I'm gonna go Rico Dowdle. All right, then Jacoby Myers goes, Sam Laporta goes, Michael Wilson, Micaiah Lemon goes, Caleb Williams goes, Quorum goes, Harrison goes, Pitts goes, Godwin goes, Kraft goes, and I am on the clock again. And let's see here. So, there I'm not really in love with this kind of round right here. There are a couple other players that I would feel a little bit more okay with reaching on. And these get into the rounds where you kind of like want to grab the players that you want to start solidifying that roster. Now, I don't have any wide receivers at this point in time that I think that I should parlay and package with, my wide receivers as a quarterback. So I mean, some of them I could wait on if I want to basically throw, you know, Stafford was great last year, but he's not being overdrafted. So I think that, he's somebody I could wait on if I really wanted to shoot that way, or I could basically go for a long shot down the road. Um, Dak Prescott, red light, green light year, who knows? We'll see. Do I want to basically take him in the eighth round? I don't think so right now. He's definitely like a ninth, 10th round kind of pick for me. But do I take Parker Washington? Do I take Parker Washington, Billy's darling, he's as he says, the best wide receiver
In
in
Jacksonville. The most
Jacksonville?
talented wide receiver in Jacksonville. I'm not saying the best fantasy. That's hard, but
Yeah, I mean, I love Alec Pierce. He was a fantastic wide receiver
I
last
feel like
year, and
Alec Pierce should be like pretty automatic here, man.
yeah, he should be, but I don't know. Um,
Can't have
um,
everybody.
you cannot have everybody. But as my wide receiver four, there's two players that I'm basically kind of teetering with right now. It's Parker Washington and it's Ricky Pearsall. I think Ricky Pearsall is going to have a bounce back year if he stays healthy. And Parker Washington, he was great last year. He didn't need to be the wide receiver one on the team, but he was the wide receiver one in fantasy football, and everybody that loves fantasy football's hearts. So I think Parker Washington is going to have a he's going to continue to have a nice year, and he would be a nice fourth wide receiver on my roster. So Billy's on the
Interesting.
clock.
I'm on the clock, and I really want to take Jadarian Price here. My problem is, it's just I'm amazed that ADP hasn't caught up, thus far. So
Yeah.
throughout this whole offseason, at least through Sleeper, I've been taking Jadarian Price locked basically in the eighth as a guarantee to make sure that I get him. But his ADP isn't even in the eighth round. It's basically like in the ninth or 10th.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna, just for the sake of us making sure that we get our guys, and I really do think ADP is going to catch up with Jadarian Price, and he'll start going higher and higher as we get close to draft season. So for that reason, I'll take him here. But I just want to mention, as the other picks go through, that the other guy I had my eye on is Ken Gainwell, and for all the
Yeah.
reasons, like there's no guarantee that Bucky Irving makes it through for the season. There's no guarantee they don't have a commitment to it. I mean, they brought in Ken Gainwell after a really good season for him.
Well,
So
you could, if you want, grab him again. You could
I
grab
could.
him right here.
Uh
But I don't think that's smart for you because I want him.
that's ironclad logic right there.
Yes,
So
it is.
following Jadarian Price, Ricky Pearsall went, then goes Alec Pierce. So I would have liked him too on the way back. Dalton Kincaid, Tyler Algier, Oronde Gadsden, J.K. Dobbins, who I would have also been good with because I think he's going to dominate the first half of the year at least. Jordan Addison, Brian Robinson, backup running back for Atlanta, Dak Prescott, Jake Ferguson, and now I'm back. And I could grab Ken Gainwell here. However, I've got one, two, three, four, five, one, two, one, two, three, four,
Five,
uh, four,
four,
four running backs, and
five. You have five. You don't want six.
I know he's messing me up with the numbers. I have four running backs and four wide receivers, which couldn't be more perfect. So at the wide receiver position, I'll be honest, I'm not like some of these guys that I'm interested in taking that shot on, like Xavier Worthy. I could kind of wait on. I think I really do want to take that shot on Kenny Gainwell. And from a quarterback perspective, I could grab my Trevor Lawrence here, who I've been loving as a almost full late round shot. You know what I think I'll do? I think I'll be nice to Tommy. I'll take Trevor Lawrence, and if
I
he doesn't,
actually was trying to have you bounce, and I was going to take Trevor Lawrence here.
all right,
But anyway, that kind of worked out for you. Did not work out for me, but it did kind of work out for me because I get my guy in Kenny Gainwell.
yeah, we feel the same way.
RB1, Kenny Gainwell.
Uh,
Um,
yeah, go ahead. Who's
After
going?
that, Patrick Mahomes goes, George Kittle goes, so it's George Brittle is on a team there. Dalton Schultz, you got Hunter Henry, Mark Andrews, Aaron Jones, Pittman, Purdy, Wandell Robinson, and we got TK, Travis Kelce himself. And I'm back on the clock. Um, so I
You
think
know,
this is I
you're gonna wait the max time for quarterback and tight end, or
I think I might be doing it.
all right.
Um, So I actually am going to take another shot here. I love my running back room, but if that trade is going to go through and James Conner is going to be the running back for the Green Bay Packers, that's a nice little play right there. Um, but I do love my Juwan Johnson, even though I have Chris Olave. Yeah, I'm gonna take the shot and take James Conner here.
Interesting, very interesting. Well, I'm on the board here, and like I said, we had this conversation about punting tight ends, and there's some cool names on here, but I think I could be happy with, a lot of different names that could be showing up. I'd really like to get a hold of Isaiah Likely. That'd be cool. Go for that shot, and I could see about Tonjes at a future date. Wide receivers, I mean, Quentin Johnston is going down here as a complete afterthought. Um, I mean, he could very well be taking over in a similar way that he did the first part of last year. I do like my shot of Xavier Worthy. I'll keep that in the back of my mind as the rounds go on. At running back, I really don't need to go too crazy at this point. I mean, we're not in a very long draft. I don't need to be grabbing, handcuffs and other stuff like that. So what I think I'll do is I'll grab Isaiah Likely here just to make sure I get like a tight end that I actually like of the late round guys. Because there's only a 12 round draft that we're doing, following likely, and also people are doubling up on tight ends and quarterbacks too here. So after
Yep.
likely, Quentin Johnston goes, Jawan Johnson, Doctor Strange, Bo Nix, Jaden Reed,
Oh man.
Kenyon Sadiq, Zach Charbonnet, Matt Stafford, JCM, Jordan Love, who I think Tommy might have been eyeing up.
Yep.
And now I'm back on the board. And since I got my quarterback and my tight end, I'll take my shot on Xavier Worthy here and see what Tommy does it.
All right. So I am on the clock. There are a couple different guys here. I mean, I like, but I think one of the best tight ends that's on the board right now is Dallas Goedert. He's top 10, pretty much in and out throughout the years. So I feel like it would be stupid to pass on him here. Even though that they did basically draft a tight end, a rookie tight end. I do think that, he's going to have another year, 2 years left. So Dallas Goedert is my pick here, and that means I'm taking a quarterback in the last round. Um, Woody Marks goes, Stephon Diggs goes, who's not on a team. Khalil Shakir goes, Romeo Dobbs, Juwan Jennings, Jared Goff, Higgins, Tracy goes. Oh, excuse me. Coleman goes and Concepcion goes, and I am on the clock and I'm taking Baker Mayfield. Very easy. Baker
Okay.
Mayfield's going to have a tremendous year, top 5 year.
Okay. And with my final pick in the draft, lots of options to choose from. I don't have to go too crazy throwing in anything else. So I'll just go Tyreek Hill just for the just for the sake. Now look, if I was being halfway serious, Tyreek Hill might be worth a shot at the very end of your draft, but let's pay attention a little bit more as we get closer to training camp on that stuff. But I'll call out my team here. At quarterback, I have Trevor Lawrence. My running backs, Derrick Henry, Brees Hall. Wide receivers, Puka and Amika Ibuka. Try pronouncing that three times fast, those two guys. Tight end Isaiah Likely. Currently at my flex is DJ Moore. And on my bench, we've got Chuba, DK Metcalf, Jadarian Price, Xavier Worthy, and Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, I mean, I think and before I announce my team, I think one mistake that I probably would have that I made is basically taking James Conner, him being my sixth running back. I shot my shot with him, and obviously it is a mock draft, but probably the best pick I should have taken was Bo Nix in that position right there. I think if I took Bo Nix in the 10th pick, I would have had another opportunity basically to get another flex opportunity in the last round in the later rounds there. Tyreek Hill could have been my guy. But my team is Baker Mayfield, Ashton Genty, Chase Brown, Chris Olave, Devontae Adams, Dallas Goedert, Devontae Smith, and then my bench, as of right now, is Kyle Monangai, Rico Daddle, who probably would find his way into the flex position, Parker Washington, Kenny Gainwell, and James Conner.
And James Conner. So there we go. You guys let us know in the comments or whatever it is who you think won. If you guys hate us, let us know. If you guys love us, let us know. But
And
thank you very much for being with us.
If you guys choose Billy, that's fine because he drafted basically a team that I would have put together. So I won either way.
Right. Because that's how it works. Yeah.
That's how it works.
Closing thoughts, Mr. Lang?
Yeah, we truly appreciate everyone that takes the time to watch our videos. If you could please like, share, and subscribe, we would appreciate that. And Diana Rossini, thank you for the like.
Oh, thanks, Diana. All right. Bye, everybody.